Greetings and welcome to today's Extraordinary Connection. My name is Devin Smith, and I have the privilege of serving as pastor here at Romeo UMC. Wherever you are today, I'm glad you're taking a few minutes out of your day to spend them here with me. A little earlier today, I had my two oldest kids here in the office with me for a bit. They were working on some of their schoolwork, and while they were, all of a sudden I saw my daughter. She stopped and she was very intently looking at the bookshelves you see behind me here. After a good 5 minutes of looking at them, she asked me, "Dad, did you bring those bookshelves with you when we moved here?" And I informed her that they were in fact already here. They were actually built by a member of the church here for the pastor's office. They've been here for some time. And I could see she was thinking about that, processing that for another minute or two. And then she asked me, "All right, I know the Star Wars books are all yours, but are the other books yours too? Or were they already here?" And I told her that the Star Wars books are certainly mine, as well as all the others. Some of them were ones that I had to use during school, during seminary. Some were ones that I've chosen to read over the years or wanted to read. And others are books that I've been given or suggested to read by others. All books that I've had for one reason or another. And finally, then, she said to me, I'm sure those ones are a lot more useful than your Star Wars books for being a pastor." You know, on the surface, she certainly isn't wrong. I would say I've used the other books far more often than my Star Wars ones when it comes to being a pastor. And although the collection of Star Wars books is quite extensive, it isn't the material that I generally turn to day in and day out for the work of being a pastor. But then as I thought about that, it sparked a little bit of a memory in me. It made me think back to March of 2020. That was when I was preparing for my very first devotion here at Extraordinary Connection. And if you have been with us all that time, maybe you too might even remember that my first devotion, it came from the words of one of those Star Wars books on my shelf. So for today, I thought I'd again turn to that side of my bookshelf for today's devotion. As I looked at the books, the one that stood out to me, it's actually the newest addition to the shelf. It's one I just received this past Christmas. It's titled Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil. And just in case there's any readers out there who haven't gotten to read it yet, I'm not going to use any names. I'm not going to try to spoil the story here, but the scene I was thinking of, it takes place as the crew of one of the ships. It's preparing to face down an enemy, one that's been moving in the shadows, sowing discord among the people. And specifically, this is a conversation between the first officer and his senior captain. You see, the officer's worried that if they go through with this, if they do this, if they sign on for the mission, will anyone ever know the sacrifice they made? Will they make a difference with their efforts? But it's the senior captain's response that I'm going to read for you. This was her response to that officer, and conveniently, it was within earshot of the entire bridge that was listening. But this is what she said. "First of all, the important part of your statement is that, yes, you'll be making a difference. That's the whole point of this. The second part, as for being remembered, history isn't ours to write. None of us know how we'll be remembered by scholars 100 years from now. But be assured that those who know you, who have worked with you, and who respect you will hold your memory close. Everyone else, does it really matter?" Now, first, yes, I realize those are fictitious characters in a galaxy far, far away. But my friends, aren't the concerns of that first officer and just about every other crew member on that ship similar to the concerns we often face in our lives? Is what I'm doing making a difference? Does anyone even notice what I'm doing? Will anyone remember? Is this all worth it or not? And I get it, I really do. I've asked myself those very questions at times throughout my life. But I also want to recall for you the words of the psalmist. I just used these in worship not that long ago, so they were fresh in my mind. It's the very first verse of Psalm 115, and it reads, "Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory." I know it's in our nature to wonder who will get the credit, who will be remembered, how will we be remembered? But today I want to remind us it's not about us. It's not about who gets the credit or who gets remembered. It's about God, God's grace, God's love, God's mercy. God is the only one worthy of receiving that glory. And that is why it is worth the effort to share that love and grace and mercy with others. It's worth the effort to further bring glory to God's name. And while it is fully possible that none of our names will end up in the pages of those history books, be assured that those whose lives you have touched, those who have seen the love of God in you, in your words, in your actions, in the ministries and missions you've been a part of, they will remember the feeling that they had, the feeling that we know is the presence of the Lord. Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory. Until next time, stay safe, take care, and God bless.